And the next speaker is Serena Bonaretti from the Belgrade campus in Zurich, and she's leading the open and reproducible musculoskeletal imaging research community. The title of her talk is Introducing the Open and Reproducible Musculoskeletal Imaging Research. The community. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce the acronym. So, Serena, I will hand over to you.
Thank you very much. 1 second only, please. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So thank you very much for the introduction and for inviting me here to present, to introduce our community. We are the ORMIR community, and ORMIR stands for Open and Reproducible Musculoskeletal Imaging Community. Imaging research community, and our aim, our work is to extract the quantifications from medical images of the musculoskeletal system, with the final aim to investigate chronic and debilitating diseases such as arthritis, osteoporosis, muscular dystrophies, and so on. And as you can see here in the figure, we scan subjects not only on MR, but also on CT, and then we segment the images and analyze them and quantify the different organs and tissues. Why did we start a community? Where we started from a problem that we had, that was that our code within and across laboratories is fragmented. And this is because we use sometimes a proprietary software, that it's often the software that comes together with a scanner. The problem is that when we use that, we use it as a black box where we cannot verify parameters or implementations. And on the other side, we cannot adapt that code to new image series or sequences or different anatomies. On the other side, we use in-house software. Of course, we code ourselves and we create some code. But the problem here is that the code is often in various different programming languages. For example, the other one can be in C++ or in MATLAB, the most recent one in Python. And often the code life is linked to the creator employment. So when a master student or PhD student or postdoc leaves, that code usually dies. And so this is also due to the fact that there is in general a bit of lack of documentation. And so it's hard to reuse existing code both within and across the laboratories. So we thought and we find that the answer to this issue that we are facing as a scientific community, the answer is open science. And so we created the community, and our aims are mainly three. The first one is related to code, to software, and our aim here is to create open, reproducible, well-tested and well-documented software to analyze musculoskeletal images. The second aim is more related to data, and here we aim to standardize data acquisition and storage to favor both the data sharing, but also the creation of benchmarking algorithms, data sets for algorithm comparison. And then finally, we also wanted to share our values. And so we wanted to promote a culture of openness and reproducibility within the MSK imaging research community, but not only, of course, with the final aim to faster advance the whole field. So the idea is that by creating these common pipelines and common code, we don't have to reinvent the wheel across laboratories, but we can focus more on answering biological questions instead of keeping reinventing or recreating computational tools. How did we start? We started because the topic, or like this issue, the need of standardization, both from a code and of a data perspective, was a topic that was circulating around quite a lot in our scientific community. Especially at some conferences. And we could see that other communities, for example, the brain community, were a bit ahead of us in terms of using standardized tools. I'm talking about software. And so we thought that we could do the same. So myself and another 8 collaborators and friends applied for a Jupyter Community workshop in 2019, and we got it. And it made us very happy. It was also a bit of a surprise, but we will forever be grateful to the Jupyter project community, because they allowed us to actually start the community that we have today. Pandemic, of course, kicked in, and so we said, okay, do we do the workshop now, or do we wait to do it in person? And we decided to wait to do it in person, because we wanted to have a physical contact, like discuss in person, but also some of the people were new, because in the while we were growing, and so it was important to meet in person. And eventually it turned out to be actually a very good point that we had to wait for some time, because we had a direction to go towards. And so we started working, and we started organizing ourselves. And then finally in 2022, we had the workshop where we had some tutorials, some working groups working on coding tasks. And we had also invited talks, people who came from the Jupyter community, like Lorena Barba and Chris Holdgraf, and that was really great for us, a very inspirational experience. And you can read the report on the Jupyter blog on Medium. Where do we stand nowadays? So from the application of the workshop to now, in the past 4 years, we have been growing. And right now we are about 50 international researchers. That when I mean international, I mean mainly North America, Europe, Middle East, and Australia. And of course, we hope that we can extend more into Asia, South America, and Africa. And we are both from academia, intended both as universities and research centers, and the industry. We have, for example, the ITK developers aboard. We are organized in 4 working groups that grew up organically. One is focused on bone biomechanics, another one on the analysis of high-resolution CT images, another one on segmentation and evaluation of muscle MR images, and finally one about for the analysis of knee images. And these 4 groups, again, grew up organically, and we are open to the creation of new groups within the MSK system, of course. These 4 groups are the core of our community, but we have realized that we also needed a bit more of general guidelines. So it was a bottom-up approach, where we decided that to establish what we then called technical and community advisory boards, following what happens in the bioconductor community in R. The technical advisory board has a task to create guidelines and streamline guidelines, and I will show you some examples in a bit. And the community advisory boards instead takes care more of the social media, website, streamlining activities that are more community related. We meet virtually every 3 months, where we have updates. We introduce the new members. We have updates of the various groups and by the boards. And then we talk about papers, grant writing, and so on. I would say that these meetings are maybe 40% scientific and 60% admin. We have a shared Google Drive folder that is available to all the participants, where we really collect all the material that we produce, from the meeting notes to the drafts of grants, both accepted and non-accepted one, papers, and so on. And then we have our website, which I would, of course, invite you to have a look at. It's called ormircommunity.github.io. And And there is where it's really the central core of all our material. Our outcomes. So I think we're pretty productive. In the past 4 years, we have extended or started from scratch 5 Python packages that use Jupyter notebooks as use cases or examples. The names that you see under each square here are the corresponding GitHub repositories. We have muscle bits for the standardization and organization of muscle MR images in bits format. Daphne is for the segmentation of muscle images using federated learning. ORMIR XCT is for the analysis of high-resolution CT images of bone. Cyclope is for the finite element simulation of trabecular bone. And finally, Pioneer is for the analysis of knee cartilage. We also have templates, guidelines, and learning material, as I mentioned before, created mainly by the boards. And templates, we have templates about Jupyter Notebook and GitHub README file. The idea is that we go to the website, we download the template, and then we fill it out with our code or text, similarly to what we do, for example, when we want to write our paper according, format our paper according to the specifics of a journal. And then guidelines mainly for code, and then learning material for the new members. What is next? What is waiting for us? So we somehow declared 2024 as the year of data. Of course, we continue writing our code, but it's time that we also start taking care of our data. In January, we will have our second workshop funded by the Swiss National Science Foundation. That is entitled Sharing and Curating Open Data in Musculoskeletal Imaging Research. And there will be both groups coding, working on, for example, input-output converters, standardizing metadata, but there will be also groups working on, for example, writing down guidelines and making everybody aware of guidelines for data sharing across the various countries. And then we will finish the year with a tutorial and workshop at QIMSI, which is one of our conferences of reference, Quantitative Musculoskeletal Imaging, which will be in November in Australia. And so there we will use that workshop and tutorial to kind of sum up and provide what we have created during that year. Some final considerations. The ORMIR community has been now up and running for 4 years and growing, and this makes us, of course, very happy and very enthusiastic. And I think that for us, I hope I can speak for the majority, at least, of the other members. It's a fantastic collective learning experience where we are really learning a lot. Both we have embraced a new way of working, so we have started working in the open and reproducible science, so using GitHub, Jupyter Notebook, Python, learning all the guidelines, how to do it, and so on. But also we have learned and embraced the community-based values. And so we are using, and we have extended the Jupyter Community Code of Conduct. We are really focused into collaboration more than competition, and in being inclusive as much as we can. There is, of course, always some more work to do, both scientific again. So we have to maintain the packages that we have. We have to create new packages and so on. And I've expressed already before what we're going to do with the data, for example. But also we have something to streamline a bit better, that is to allow new members, especially the younger ones who are very eager to contribute, to kind of become quickly part of a stream of a conversation that has been going on for 4 years, and that sometimes it's kind of harder to have people aboard fast. With this, I would like to conclude saying, please get in touch if you want to join the ORMIR community, if you want to share experiences about community building, or of course, anybody else you want to talk about. Thank you very much for your attention, and I'm ready for questions, if any.